Okay, and so here's what is good. The ball is positioned in between your feet, but maybe a little teeny bit more towards your front foot. So the golf ball is positioned in between your feet, but not dead in between. No. You want it a little teeny bit more towards your front foot. Just a teeny bit. And the reason for that is when you swing the club, you're going to be moving your body more towards your front foot, and that's going to help your club, hopefully, your club swing reach the low point of its swing just after you hit the ball to help you hit a good solid shot. You hit one shot that sounded really solid and the ball launched up in the air nicely. That was a shot where your club hit the ball and then hit the ground afterwards. And that's what we want. So when you look at the tour players hitting shots, and then you see that divot of dirt go flying, they hit the ball and then they hit the ground. So we always want the lowest point of our swing after we hit the ball. Okay? So I'm going to bring up a tour player here next to you as a comparison. And let's see if I have Sandra Gall here. Oh, I don't have her. Amy Fearwith. Okay. All right. So you can see here, here's our tour player, right? She's got roughly the same ball position that you have. Okay. Also notice that each of you have the shaft leaning a little teeny bit ahead of the ball. See that? That's really good too. Okay. Now let's watch our tour pro make her swing. We're going to watch you. You think you're standing farther from the ball? Maybe. Let's watch yours. Okay. So, what's that? Say it. Yes, it was fast motion, right? So now, watch on her way back. See that L she makes? Yeah. And the reason why she's able to get this really good looking lower arm, left arm, is because she's turned her shoulders. Turned her shoulders. As opposed to somebody who doesn't turn their shoulders at all, their shoulders would continue to be square, parallel to our target line, and they just pick the hands up. Does that make sense how I say that? Let's see what you do. Yeah, slower. So see, you're turning your shoulders, right? So you're doing a good job turning your shoulders. That's great. Now I want you to notice your wrist hinge, this area right here. It's not hinging quite as much. Can you see that you actually have a little bit of a bowing in your left wrist like that? That's because of the way you're holding the club and the way that you're moving back. So we're going to work on that next. Okay? And see it impact as you're hitting the ball. See, now the club head is starting to move a little bit past your hands. When that happens, so you're holding the club in your hands right now, go ahead and put the club in front of you. You don't even have to stand up. No, just put the club in front of you. And now just push your right hand forward so that the club passes your hands. See, which way is your club face pointing now? And which way was your ball going? There you go. No, we want to look. Let's see what our tour pro does. And if she doesn't do it in a way that's obvious, we'll look at somebody else. Can you see here her hands are leading into the shot? So I'm going to bring. I'm going to use a different tour pro here. I'm going to use Rory McIlroy because we get a better shot of him. See when he's hitting the ball how his hands are? And when you're hitting the ball, let's get that line out of there. See how your club head is passing your hands through impact? Whereas he doesn't have that happening. So when we go back to your setup position, See where your shaft is? And then impact, right? Let's look at Rory set up at impact. Okay? The difference is that he's got his hands leading that club head all the way through a little bit better. Whereas you're using your hands to hit the ball a little bit, and that makes the club face go left. And it also causes you to sometimes hit the ground before the ball. It also causes you to sometimes miss the ground and then top the ball or whiff the ball completely. Okay? So here's the thing about golf that's tough. In order to hit the ball up in the air, intuitively we try to lift the ball to some degree. What we need to do is think more about moving our weight to our left foot so that we can have the club hit the ball and then continue to descend and hit the ground afterwards. So if anything, we should be trying to hit a ball low, and that's going to make it go high. If we try to hit it high, we might hit some high, but we'll hit a lot of thin shots, fat shots, and short shots, and left shots. I hope that makes sense how I say all that. Okay. Now watch this. You had mentioned one of the things that was giving you trouble was your right foot coming up off the ground. Can you see Rory McIlroy's right foot? How it's coming off the ground? So in order for... Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, you know, I don't know what to say about that, but take a look at this. I'm going to put a line on his sternum, on the center of his chest. See that yellow line? Right? I'm going to put a line behind the ball. Okay? When he gets to impact as he's hitting the ball, see how far forward his chest is of where it started? Yeah. Now it's way up here. Because his chest moves forward, his entire swing moves forward a little bit. So it makes the low end of his swing after the ball. So watch his club head hit the ball now. So I've gone through 2 frames, and you can see his club is still down in the turf. He's still descending through the shot, and he hits very, very solid golf shots. And you can see also, as he's hitting the ball, he's got almost all of his weight on his front foot. And then when he finishes, he continues turning through, and we're going to see his hips end up on top of his left leg. At the end of his golf swing, he's got almost no weight at all on his right foot. Okay? Somebody who's trying to lift the ball up in the air, they're not going to move weight to their front foot. They're going to stay more between their feet with their weight. They try to lift it, and they're going to hit solid shots once in a great while, but it's going to mostly be thin shots, meaning they're going to skull them, they're going to chunk them, they're going to have less distance, they're going to have all kinds of problems. So the thing that we try to do with just about everybody is get them so that they're moving to their left side as they're hitting the ball. Now, in the short term, that feels kind of out of control to people. That feels like, oh, I'm using my body to swing the club when I need to control the club. Kind of like, have you ever seen a tennis lesson or taken a tennis lesson? When you teach a kid to play tennis, you have to teach them to move that racket from low to high, right? So they can put topspin on it. It's completely unintuitive, and at first they are worse because they can't master that move. They would actually be better just kind of popping the ball over. But after a little while, if they continue doing that, they'll stop progressing and they won't get nearly as good. And so it's the same thing in golf. We want to try to turn through to our front side, and in the short term it may be tough, but once you get the hang of it, you will hit the ball a whole lot better. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So I'm going to send this to you, and we're going to work on getting more on your front side. So see at the end of your swing how you don't. We want your right hip. Yes. So if your right hip moved on top of your left leg, your right heel would be coming up, which is what we want. Make sense? Well, are they earning a living teaching golf? Okay, well, there you go. That's probably it. I'm going to send. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for more instructional videos.